I'm gonna touch it 2 times with the GuardDOGGin FLESH. Fellas, we need to learn that GuardDOGGin her flesh is not good. Now it varies depending on the circumstance. You know what I mean? Oh, and I want to give a shout out to Andrew 26101. You know what I mean? I was inspired by his Mangina Award Part 5. He got a cool series there. My favorite is Uno Dos, Part 1 and Part 2. I'll leave the link in the description box for you guys to check out. Man, it's burning up in here. I want to share with you guys a little situation that happened back in the day. This was like, what was it? Early 2000s, probably like 02, I believe. I had this part-time job out in Costa Mesa at the Shark Club as a bouncer. And the thing was is that when I was working full-time at the Hyatt, I got fucking tired of working every Saturday night. Me being a young man, working every Saturday night, missing out on fun and everything, but I was saving my money and I was trying to pay off my car at the same time, and I was investing into this independent project that I had, his hip-hop EP with some more cuts on it, and I was trying to press it and do all the mastering and pressing myself with my own finances, being independent like always. So the thing was is that I took on this part-time job as a bouncer, and it gave me an excuse for my boss to give me Saturdays off. It got to a point where I was actually doing my job while I was out in the club on a Saturday night. You know, I was able to still be in that atmosphere, but I had a job task to perform. So, what I mean back to the topic, GuardDOGGin FLESH. On this particular Saturday night, my duty, my task was to stand by the DJ booth all the way to the right side in the corner, right near where the green room was. We had this green room like after hours when closing, all the bouncers would get together with the manager and we'll talk and have a brief discussion on what had transpired throughout the night and what we could all do to improve things better. That's how we would do it. So the thing was is that my teamster, he was standing by the shark tank, right between the shark tank and also the ATM machine. He was like right in between, like standing right there on the side of it, the tank. And supposedly this dude, this stocky bald head dude, I won't call him a skinhead because you don't want to insinuate and say that every skinhead, like every white dude that's stocky with a bald head, are a Nazi surfer. You know what I mean? You don't want to say that. So you can't assume all the time. So this dude, supposedly he was walking down the hallway near the restrooms and he saw this female that was attractive, and she had I ain't gonna lie, she had a big ol' ass. Her boobs wasn't big, but she had a big ol' ass for like an Italian chick. So the dude supposedly had grabbed her wrist while she was walking by herself. He thought she was alone. He thought, you know, maybe she was with her girlfriends or whatever, and he just wanted to holler at her. You know what I mean? And then she started cussing him out in the hallway. So our job procedures is when there's an altercation cracking, you take your flashlight and you pull it above your head, and then you flash the floor. That gives us a signal to where the altercation is happening. So we'll all meet you right there. So I was the first one because I was close by. I was by the DJ booth. I went right there, met up with him, and what happened was this stocky bald-head dude had this tall, lanky dude by the throat in the hallway where the bathrooms were. Had his ass by the throat. This dude, he looked like it was about like he was like 5'10", and the other dude was, he probably was my height, like 6'3.5" or maybe 6'4". I'm not sure, but he had his skinny ass like this by the neck, and it took three bouncers to pull his ass off of him, because supposedly the chick's boyfriend was there at the nightclub too as well, and she told him when he came out the men's restroom. So our job task is to just go ahead, take the driver's license, make a Xerox copy, and the manager keeps a Rolodex full of all the people that were X'd out of the club, and they will no longer be able to enter the club anymore once we get their information. Yeah, that was a trip. I remember too, man. I remember that night because, well, we had all kind of brawls and all kind of crazy shit. You know what I mean? But that in particular, I remember that because it took three of us to pull this dude off this guy. You know what I mean? He had him by the throat. You see, and something like that occurred because dude was guard dogging his flesh. You know what I'm saying? He was guard dogging his chick. You know what I mean? Going to the rescue, not even knowing everything, what happened and shit. You know what I mean? The dude was, you know, it's like this. Guys are put in a position where when you see a female, you think she's single or whatever, and it's like, hey, you're in a nightclub, who knows? Dude probably had a couple of drinks, and he saw her nice ass, and he was like, hey, come here. Sometimes it's in a loud club atmosphere, it's kind of hard to be like, to get a little whistle go, or like, hey, excuse me, hey, like, it's kind of hard to do that. So I guess he went for the gusto, and he saw that ass, and he like grabbed her by her wrist and wanted to talk to her and holler at her. Now it's a different story if some dude is just groping your girl and shit, and you know, she tells you that, I can understand that. But sometimes, you know what I mean, you can find yourself stomped out. This is a lesson to all my young fellas out there, because I got cousins, I got cousins that's in their early 20s and mid 20s. Don't be guard dogging flesh. Only if you have to. If it's a situation where somebody's really putting hands on your lady and shit like that, especially in front of you. Other than that, if it's something that's mild, don't even sweat it. Alright then, tubers, feel free to sub, and I'll catch you guys on another one. Nah-ahh.